Okay, so now I'm gonna call her.
Hello?
Hi, Nancy. It's Amy.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am okay. Just glad to be home from work.
Yeah.
So, you have a big question for me?
Um,
Am I rushing into it too soon?
no, I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard no matter what. But yeah. I have been kind of looking a little bit more at some things. I mean, I was, processing it for a long time, but more in kind of like a wordless or really, I don't know, catatonic or all-encompassing kind of way. And it wasn't, it's only kind of been recently that I've, felt safe enough to kind of articulate things more, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't been in therapy, and I recently had a meeting with someone who I think I'm going to stick with, because honestly, every time, I've gone to a couple of therapists where I just did a session or two, and part of it was that it was always expensive. And part of it was just that, there's always going to be a reason not to. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, things are pretty good, I'd say, and stable. And that's, maybe why I'm able to kind of look back a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
And so I guess I wanted to ask about, so it's something that my parents would have told you or not told you. And it only kind of recently in the last few years occurred to me that not everything was like my life is not transparent, and that maybe even close family members weren't aware of the situation that was going on.
Uh-huh.
And that they probably wouldn't have said anything to you. And it's something that, it would stand out if they had. So maybe, I don't know if they said anything about the circumstances surrounding when they split up, the specific catalyst for that, or, it just kind of made general references. Or my mom might have said something, when she brought me out to Oklahoma to live there, about something about what was going on in her life, not so much what, that I had, my problems or whatever, but, do you remember them saying, anything, not like just anything about those two topics?
Yeah, okay, this is what I remember. I remember that there was nothing where I went, oh my gosh, except that you had a suspicion that your mother was having a relationship with someone at the clinic where she worked.
Okay.
This is kind of all mixed up in my brain.
Yeah. No.
And I remember, I think one time your dad and mom were there together. Were they initially together when you were first in the hospital?
Yes. Yeah, they were.
Okay. And I think there was a big blow up.
Mm-hmm.
This is, because, I haven't thought about this in so long, but I think that there was some kind of, I'm just feeling like there was some kind of blow up, and your dad was hurt and your mom was hurt, and I don't know the circumstances, whether we were having family therapy, whether they were talking to me in private. I think maybe they were talking to me in private, and that I never spoke to your mother past that about what happened, but I remember you had concerns and suspicions. But that's all I remember.
Yeah.
They weren't real forthcoming learning about things. But I just remember, wasn't your dad traveling a lot? Or he had traveled, or he did did he go on a journey after you got out of the hospital?
Yeah, it was after, that was afterwards, once,
Okay.
yeah.
But I just think I remember that your mom was evidently having a relationship with someone at the, was it an AIDS clinic?
Yes. Yeah, she was working at, yeah. That was, that was basically, I couldn't, honestly, I thought I hadn't said anything because, or, I don't know, at the time, I have this journal entry from 2003 where, just after I got back from Oklahoma, where, my mom and I had a conversation about that, and she said, oh, and, about me and Steven, and, all of that, and somehow, I don't know why it seemed like I was just learning it for the first time, but that it had been, like, too much, and that while I had seen, all of those things, that I had kind of repressed the knowledge, or, like, putting it all together and saying, oh, they had a relationship, because I think at that age, maybe two people do just sleep in the same bed. That's, like, kind of normal for teenagers, or something like that. So, I don't know.
I think you were the one that kind of told me, not your folks. Okay. And you had thoughts and suspicions about that, and it seemed to me that there was a lot going on that your folks weren't saying, and I don't know what they had to say, and there was a lot unconscious.
Yeah.
Just a lot of unconscious stuff going on. It was not, there was no transparency.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like just trying to cope with, well, we'll go here, or we'll try this, or we'll do this, and I wasn't very useful when you got to Oklahoma, because I couldn't, I don't think you knew what was going on, and I didn't know what was going on, and so it was, but I remember you had intense anger at your father.
Yeah, I remember, at that point, the first time I was hospitalized at Princeton, I had spent a lot of time in therapy talking about, how my dad is really, frightening and abusive, but my psychiatrist said to me, your mom is the one to watch out for. I don't know. Yeah, it's just been kind of, I feel like my mom actually, she's well. I don't really know how, because she at one point gave me a journal in which she described, not using protection, and some people are genetically immune. Just all of it. There's so much fucked up there, but, she is married. She's remarried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And of course he doesn't know anything. And that's fine. For me, my mom and I have, of course, had kind of a difficult relationship since then. And it definitely, at certain points has made it kind of strange to be in the presence of, like, where my context is invisible, and, it's really difficult for somebody to understand why I might be acting in a certain way, because they don't know,
It's just a continuation of the way things have always been.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, this is somebody who I just want I would never have any interest in, blowing it up, because he takes care of her, and that's, she's not capable, really, on that level, so,
Ugh, it's a burden on you. Ugh.
Yeah, but it's it really was only recently where I thought, maybe my aunt doesn't know, or maybe, other people who I would have assumed did know, and I'm not, that's strange, but, and it kind of gives it, like, an unreality, in a sense of, and it's been really difficult to navigate too with in the context of having a relationship, and my husband knows everything, but you know, it's not something where my in-laws, you know, like they don't have really a great idea of what my life has been like, so there are a lot of assumptions, and it's really difficult relationship there for a lot of reasons, but I don't know.
Gordy, it's like an Ingmar Bergman film.
I know, it's
it really is.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, that was pretty much my only question. I mean, there's not a lot to necessarily go over, I think. But I've read a lot of Winnicott and stuff like that, so I got a good sense of kind of, I mean, my interactions with my parents now, which I do still have relationships with both of them, can actually be really useful, because now I'm able to see and like parse the way they speak and like all the intention behind it, and in a way that, you know, a 3-year-old really can't, and knowing, you know, just kind of understanding them on that level. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. So how long have you been married?
Well, we've been married a year, but we've been together for the last 10 years. So yeah, it was a long, kind of on and off relationship at some points, but I definitely don't think I would have made it through the last 10 years without his support.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that you have that support. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, he's a really loving and, you know, that kind of person from a very normal family.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that. I've not ever seen one, or been in one myself, so I wouldn't know. Honestly. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I must tell you though, I do think about you frequently. I just do. You just pop in my mind if I'm by the Wild Fork, or going down Peoria, or the Boo-Ha-Ha Parade, which is totally dead now, but not with zombies. But I mean, I think of you. So it was really awesome when you just asked for a friend request, because I thought, well, I always wondered what you were up to.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's, I think about Tulsa a bit too, and, you know, it's an interesting place. It's a very strange place, I think, under the surface, and
it's very different than it was. They've developed the downtown. Well, they've undeveloped it, and they've got this whole deco district. Yeah. And they've got, I mean, it's very different than it was. It's tiny, and there's gentrification, but they have Friday night art crawls. Everything is just downtown, so the whole rest of the world doesn't exist. So it's better, but it's, my son, he just calls it Disneyland. Sam. He's a violin maker.
I remember Sam, Yeah,
so he says, it's just Disneyland. They're creating these little, rides and spaces that kind of can see. So
Yeah. Well, Brooklyn has kind of become Disneyland in its own way, but
yeah, maybe that's the world.
Yeah.
I know when I work with my patients, I always just say, well, which reality do you want to deal with? They kind of look at me and I'm like, really? You thought there was one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a important insight.
Yeah. Well, we got a new doctor a while ago. Well, we've had several. Had the same one for 10 years. He's awesome. Yeah. There's no drama. There's no drama. Nobody leaves sicker than they came. It is amazing. The staff doesn't talk behind each other's back. We have a whole brand new building. There's a research center with brain research and all that, and we're up above it. I like the old Crenshaw one better, but it is so amazing to have, we can do, like, I'm going to learn how to do, I don't know, do you know what shaking is? This guy, David Baricelli.
I don't know what it is, but that was something that, like, shaking, like, as in, like, physically shaking?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that was something that I totally just intuitively got to at some point in this process. It was very strange. And then I read about it in Peter Levine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my son Sam's doing that. This woman was doing this color spectrum stuff with him, and then she had just been trained, but actually Sam shows everybody how to do it. He said, you know what, if you're going to a therapist and you've got, you know, and you're doing that, then it's okay, I'll show you. So he's showing everybody. He used to call me all the time, just in crisis, and haven't talked to him in months, because he's surfing and shaking.
That's amazing. Yeah, for a while I was, you know, when I wasn't in therapy, and that was for the best, but I went to this Chinese massage place that was on my corner that was really cheap. Like, they do that deep tui na style, and I really think that there's a huge part of the body and, you know, involved in all of that. So, yeah. That's funny.
That's good, because he ran into some, I can't even say it, Maori, massage people were traveling around the United States and doing deep massage and that was kind of his first experience with, you know, just releasing it from his muscle memory.
Yeah.
So it was good. Well, it sounds like you have just been working hard.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I think sometimes it looks like, not, you know, utter stillness, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes on internally even.
Yeah.
Doing this, so it does. Well, I hope that you can find a safe place, and because you're on quicksand.
Mhm.
You know, and it's good that your mom has stability, and that. I mean, I think that's great. But then who's left keeping her secrets?
Yeah.
So, how's your dad doing?
He is well. He's been seeing someone for the last 3 or 4 years now, and she's really lovely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's not perfect either with him, but I think it's a little easier in some ways. more straightforward.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, more straightforward. Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Yeah, I do think you would just have to carry a lot around.
Yeah.
So, and I hope that you can go to therapy and work on that or whatever I mean, I like therapy, but I sure like a lot of other things too that I think are really useful.
Yeah.
And help you to, I don't know how to carry around other people's secrets and move on. I'm not excellent at that, so I just go around and confront everybody and piss them off. So that's what I do. So you keep in, who do you keep in touch with anybody from the old days?
Well, I didn't overlap with Nina, but she's probably my closest friend from that time. Juliet is in the city as well. And I've seen her a couple of times, but in general, I didn't really keep in touch with people.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's been, I mean, Nina's been really great because I think that it's strange because she, like, witnessed, like, she didn't see anything, but at the same time, she, like, was at Laureate and she was at Hunter, and so she sort of saw the play, you know, and it was like a form of witnessing, but without the kind of difficult emotional difficulty of having actually, like, seen that. So, I don't know. I figure that if we almost overlapped at 2 different places, that we were probably supposed to meet. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How did you meet your husband?
We were doing a voter registration campaign in 2004 with Rock the Vote. They register kids at concerts, and so we were running their New York team, and that was that. It was so yeah, in a positive way, we met each other.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I didn't want to be involved in a partisan. I haven't been involved in a partisan way in that election because I hated Bush, and I didn't really like Kerry that much, and pretty much every politician has been a crook. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's kind of bleak. It's really bleak.
Yeah.
It's really bad being in Oklahoma.
I'm sure.
Jim Inhofe,
Yeah.
is now going to be head of the environmental committee.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, he's old. Maybe he'll die.
Yeah.
Holiday to his grandson briefly. She said, "We hate your grandpa."
Oh, gee.
She's this little teeny 20-year-old girl who's struggling through life, but she'll survive.
Yeah.
She'll be okay. It's funny because everybody's just grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that you reached out, though. I hope that that's helpful and validating somewhat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you for talking to me, and, you know, thank you for being there at that time. And
Yeah, and I never go away. I'm always around if you ever have another question or something you want to share, anything. But I'm here. Okay?
all right.
All right. You take care.
All right. Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.